We should talk more, you know, you and I. Maybe later today. How about 2 o'clock British time? On twitch.tv/Cultaholic. It's Friday, which means it's Love You Bye Fridays. It is a live phone-in show from the isolation station. You can call in and chat about anything you like within reason. And who knows, we might even have a laugh. Imagine such nonsense. Twitch.tv/Cultaholic. See you then. For now, though, here's your wrestling news. AEW stars are injured on Dynamite. Original plans for a top WWE faction have been revealed. And a top Raw star is getting new theme music. Breathe a sigh of relief with me in a little bit. There were 2 injuries that people were talking about from AEW Dynamite on Wednesday night. Alex Reynolds and Rey Fenix both got knocked about during the show. We'll get to Alex Reynolds in just a moment. Rey Fenix had that great match with Pentagon. At one point following a head scissors, he landed badly and it looked as if like he'd hurt his head and his neck. And it just slowed him down a little bit. There was certainly some concern for Phoenix as the match sort of tried to get back into order. He was chatting quite a bit with Aubrey, the official, for that as well. They managed to get to the end of the match. It seemed like he shook it off. Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer has no update on Rey Fenix other than he is sore. And we'll have that match, as far as we know, next week with Phoenix taking on Kenny Omega. Now, I've heard nothing to the contrary to say that match isn't happening, but it was a little nasty moment for Rey Fenix, and we wish him well. The other is Alex Reynolds from the Dark Order. It was that 4-way tag main event where we saw Reynolds absorb a body splash leg drop combo from Private Party and was just knocked spark out on the canvas. And it was weird, actually it was quite uncomfortable to watch because so much of the action was happening around him as he just lay there. Eventually the Butcher pulled him into the corner and tagged him out of the match, but he still lay there on the canvas. He kind of got his senses back and did a couple of other bits, but overall it wasn't a great look to have him in the centre of the ring. I think we're all feeling a bit uncomfortable about that, how he was just left in the centre of the ring as the match continued to happen around him. For all the faults that WWE has, and there's a lot of them, what we have seen a lot of lately is in the event that there's a concern for a wrestler's well-being, they will just bring the match to an end and make sure they're okay. And it was uncomfortable seeing that. Now, Alex Reynolds apparently is feeling great, according to Brian Alvarez from the Wrestling Observer radio show. He says that Reynolds is suffering from no side effects as of now of what happened, but it looked like it was nasty to see a guy completely knocked out in the centre of the ring. Obviously, when we know more about the status of Phoenix and of Alex Reynolds, we'll let you know more at cultaholic.com. It's a new day! Yes, it is! Not my words, the words of somebody seeing the letter A with no clothes on. And the words of Big E, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. The New Day have been one of the greatest factions in modern wrestling history. Now split across 2 brands. It looks as if that message will continue. But Corey Graves was chatting with Big E about the early days of the New Day and the plans initially for the faction. The original plans have been revealed by Big E on Corey Graves After the Bell podcast. Now, some of this that we already know, that whole idea that it wasn't meant to be this sort of fun-loving, pancake-throwing goodness. It was meant to be something a little bit deeper and a little bit darker and a little bit more militant as well. Big E talks about this and considerations for members of the group. I'll give you the quote from Big E from the podcast. He says, "When we started, the goal was always to be a faction. We always saw ourselves as this revolving door faction. Kofi can have his singles run, and Woods and I can do tag stuff. Then we could have these interchanging parts. Looking back, I remember thinking Alicia Fox was someone we wanted to add because at the time she was doing the stuff with the tantrum, so it kind of fitted with their shtick. We never talked to them about it, but her and Damien Sandow we thought would be a great addition. This was when we were more of a militant New Day. The idea was very quickly taken off TV. As grateful as I am that we went the way it did, I'm also kind of intrigued to see what it could have been like for us to go that militant route and what we could have done. We shot a lot of pre-tapes and put all these ideas together. Obviously, I think it worked out the best the way it did, because I don't think we could have stayed together for 6 years as this militant group. So obviously an edgier New Day was the original plan, as was Alicia Fox and Damien Sandow as part of the group. So Fox was doing the temper tantrum stuff. Damien Sandow would have been an interesting addition to that group as well. And no doubt he would have flourished in a role like that as well. But what a different New Day we could have had. PW Insider have reported that Joe Meehan, aka Joey Ryan, has filed yet another lawsuit following on from accusations made about him during the Speaking Out movement. So this comes from PW Insider, who say that Joe Meehan is filing a lawsuit against Ring of Honor wrestler Pele Primo. This is the 7th lawsuit that he has filed. It is seeking millions of dollars of damages from Pele in terms of slander and libel that comes from the Speaking Out movement. So Pele Primo was very vocal, as were many people, about Joey Ryan during this time, but he was particularly so. 26 statements that, according to Joe Meehan's lawsuit, fall under libel, presenting Meehan in a false light, intentionally interfering with his finances, negligently interfering with finances, and causing emotional distress, among other allegations. In the lawsuit, Meehan claims that the actions of Primo are as a result of Meehan sleeping with Primo's partner, something that Meehan wasn't aware of at the time. He didn't know they were romantically connected. He is suing for damages financially, which add up to, according to the suit, $500 per month from Cameo video messages, $1,000 per month in merchandising revenue, $1,000 per month plus additional tips and subscription shares from Twitch, $1,500 a month from his bar wrestling promotion that is no longer receiving streaming and distribution earnings, $2,000 in losses per month from bar wrestling events, $3,000 per month in loss of revenue from his Patreon, and up to $10,000 per month in lost wrestling bookings. There is this and 6 other lawsuits of a similar nature currently out by the former Joey Ryan. When we know more about it, of course, we'll let you know at cultaholic.com. You may have noticed fans back at the Capitol Wrestling Center for NXT. John Alba from Spectrum Sports 360 has shed a bit of light on the protocol for fans being a part of the Wednesday Night Wrestling shows. He says sources tell him that NXT protocols for fans to attend the shows at the CWC are set through WWE. They designate a testing spot for attendees to go to cover any involved costs as well. Results are sent to the person themselves, but they get a notification if they are cleared or not. Temperature checks are also taking place at the door. COVID testing for attending NXT happens the day before. Every individual who attends is then taken to their pod, where they are stationed with those in their party. Sanitation is also available in the pod. Paul Levesque has mentioned this on the last WWE call. Since posting, says John, I had some reach out who say they are able to check their results in addition to WWE giving clearance. I guess some others were not able to or didn't know they could check them. Aventus Labs does the tests, which is the same provider WWE uses for its own crew. So if you are attending an NXT show at the CWC, gives you an idea of some of the process before you get there. And final for a Friday, we could do with some good news to end the week on. And this, I believe, could be some of the best news of the week. Keith Lee is getting new theme music. Yes! So, I don't know about you, but I thought that Keith Lee's tune on NXT, what's the word that the kids use? Slaps. Oh, I'm never saying that again at 36. But we didn't get it on Raw. They've gone for something a bit generic, and that's being fixed. Keith Lee promised us on Twitter that it was being fixed. And PW Insider have reported that Keith Lee was in New York yesterday recording a new version of his theme song. So not only are we getting new music for Keith and that generic stuff is going in the bin, but Keith is singing his theme music once more. Chef's kiss. That's excellent news. I mean, he could have asked me and Ross to sing live for him, but I guess he's going to keep that for WrestleMania, which I totally get. So that is your wrestling news from me for today and for the week. Thank you so much for continuing to support what we do here at Cultaholic. It's because of you this week we hit over 6 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Simply could not have done it without your continued support. Forever be grateful for you keeping up with us here at Cultaholic. We couldn't do it without you. It's been another horrible week in the hellscape that is 2020. Livened up by some silliness within the wrestling, but even some silliness within the wrestling has brought out some unnecessary vitriol from people online. And I continue to echo the same phrase that I have been echoing since this whole thing started, and that's be kind. It's easier to be nice. You genuinely don't know what people are going through, and if a part of your day is just reaching out and telling somebody how crap they are, maybe worth reevaluating that, because you don't know what that person on the other side of the screen is dealing with. If you can't be anything, be nice, and if you can't be nice, be patient. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. Love you, bye.